I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. And I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. Fire in the veins, I fight to gain, breaking all the rules to keep me sane. Living the moment till I die. And I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. And I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. No matter how hard we try.
Hey guys, and welcome to the English Shooting live stream. As always, we're here in the Blue Fieldsports gun room, and I'm joined here by Connors, or with Connors.
Hello.
Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all trying to get back to this new normal. I know a lot of people are getting down to the range and getting back into the swing of things. So let us know what you've been up to the past week. Have you managed to squeeze in a match? I know there are some matches running. We are going to be talking about some pretty significant cancellations. But yes, as always, this is all about you guys, so a chance for you to ask questions, get involved, spark up topics and conversations, and just your chance to have a bit of a one-on-one straight feedback.
I mean, you say getting back to the new normal, but I don't suppose that goes if you live in Leicester.
Straight in there. Boof. Yeah, so...
Well, something's happened there.
Yeah, everyone's being absolute idiots and not listening to the lockdown guidance. So yeah, you can...
But Bournemouth is somehow okay.
Yeah, because they all went to Bournemouth and then they dispersed. Bournemouth had like a day of absolute pandemonium, and then they dispersed to Leicester by the looks of things.
We've got quite a few gun questions already popping up in the chat, so shall we have a look at some of those?
Yeah, let's get straight into it. Again, throughout the stream, guys, you can comment below. Make sure you hit the like button as well. It does really help with the YouTube analytics. But yeah, let's get into it. So,
I mean, the first question there is from Ethan, asking about dry firing on a 2.2 LR. The answer of whether or not you can dry fire on a 2.2 is a complicated one. For the vast majority of modern 2.2s, yes, you can, because they will have a firing pin stop built into them to stop the firing pin from actually hitting the breech face or the mouth of the breech. However, some older 2.2s and some cheaper 2.2s do not have this. For instance, you can dry fire a Ruger 1022 all day. Same with the Smith & Wesson 1522. You can dry fire it as much as you want. PPQ is the same. But there are some guns, such as the Browning Buckmark, which you absolutely cannot dry fire.
I would say our overwhelming advice would be to, better to be safe than sorry. So if you're not 100% certain that the gun can be dry fired, don't do it.
I beg to differ. If you're...
Yeah, but people are going to go out and dry fire and
I'm
blame
not
us
saying,
when it
I'm
breaks.
not saying dry fire. I think the advice from me, at least, is check the manual. If your gun can't be dry fired, the manual will specifically say do not dry fire this gun. If it doesn't say do not dry fire this gun, then chances are you probably can.
I mean, the rule of thumb that you've always said to me is pretty much any modern 2.2 is going to be safe. The older ones you've got to be careful with.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of examples. There was the Seiko quad that I used to have. I ended up selling that to a friend and warned him, do not dry fire it. And he was notorious for dry firing 2.2s. And lo and behold, I think within a month or two of owning it, the firing pin broke. And then more recently, now, although it is a more modern 2.2, the Antreg Zenith, so there was only 2 of them in the country at the last.
I don't think that's a great example because the firing pin is still in development.
Well, the firing pin is still in development, but they also had an absolute beating. So if you went to the Target Shooting Show, you would have seen Cotswold Classic Arms, and they had the only 2 Antreg Zenith CZ long barrel pistols in the country, still the only 2 in the country, and for the whole weekend they were being dry fired, and they said that they really would prefer not to, but once one person does it then everyone wants to do it, and even a modern 2.2 that could probably get away with it, just normal use, those 2 days, well, he said the firing pin ended up very misshapen by the end of it.
The Antreg does actually have a firing pin stop built in.
Yeah.
The thing is that Otto is currently trying to make his own firing pin for it, so he's prototyping getting to that point where it won't impact the breech face.
And I covered that slightly in the video in the review. So I said that's why it was more an introduction to that gun rather than a review, because it's still prototyping. But I'm pretty certain that question about the 2.2 has come from the Mantis X video that I did recently, where I was doing a lot of dry fire with the PPQ.
That was a nice bit of kit.
Again, we've talked about it on the live stream before, but I've got it down as a note because I get like super impressed.
Did you send it back?
Yes.
You shouldn't have done.
No, I shouldn't have. But I've had a very angry subscriber. I'm very grateful for them sending it down. I do need to get in touch. I do know a distributor of them. And he said that he can work on the price, so I do need to get in contact because Connors does a lot of training and instruction here at Blue Fieldsports, and I think we came to the conclusion that not only is it good for you as just a shooter on your own down the range, but actually if you are going and having instruction and coaching, what you can end up doing is turn up to your first instruction and show them the data and go, look, this is what it says I'm doing wrong, help me correct this.
Well, it's basically a coach in your pocket, and I think I've talked before about the differences between an instructor and a coach. And doing away with the coach side of your training means you can just go to an instructor and they can work on the specific technique that you need to improve, and then you have your coach in your pocket giving you constant feedback and updates on how you're doing and benchmarks and that sort of thing. I think it's really good.
Yeah,
I was very impressed with it.
And you can see during the video, even just, and obviously it's never a true reflection while I'm trying to do a video at the same time. I'm not paying as much attention as I should to the actual training side of that bit of kit, but you can see the times falling just while doing it in front of the camera. And, that's incredible to see.
The thing is, when you're as bad as you are, you have a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, this is very true. But then you've taught me everything I know. So.
That's why you're so bad. I'm terrible at pistol.
So a quick couple of mentions to Stephen Wolf. Thank you very much for the donation. And also Portuguese Redneck. That's a nice combo right there. Really appreciate the donations, and we'll quickly get through your questions as well. If you want to support the channel, if you want to continue with English shooting getting bigger and better and putting out more and more content, then you can help the channel by donating either through this chat, or you can go on to, I think there's a PayPal link, or Patreon, or just a like or a share.
Do you have a Patreon set up?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 or 3 donators on it. I got it up to
you should probably have an after roll on all your videos saying thank you to these Patreon.
Thank you to all my patrons.
We should do it on every video.
I should. Yeah. Yes, I will make a note and I'll get on that.
He'd be nothing without me.
Yes, absolutely. It got up to about, I think there was 10 or so Patreons before the channel got shut down.
And then they realised that the value for money is awful.
But really appreciate, guys, all your support. But just even a like and a share does help absolutely massively. So Stephen Wolf, you asked, you're back this week because you did miss last week, unfortunately. What are our views on the new bullpup belt-fed underlever rifle? I made a post on it in the Owners' Rights Cooperative. I did actually get sent a video.
Biggest problem with it is
Mm-hmm.
Callum wouldn't be able to tell whether or not it's a bullpup.
No, I'll be able to say it looks like a bullpup. As you all know, I've made my faux pas before when it comes to bullpups.
We've made many faux pas. That's just one of them.
It looks like a pistol, and the pistol's behind the grip. It's a bullpup.
But it's not.
But it looks
because
like
the magazine's in front of the
But it looks like one.
Even by your own logic, it doesn't look like a bullpup.
It does. in my weird and twisted little mind.
Okay, all right. Let's answer the question about CCI Clean then, because you've had some experience with it recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I just. Yes, I have. Stephen Wolf, I haven't actually seen it myself yet. Somebody did send a video of it working. I haven't had a chance to watch that video yet, and apparently it was somebody from their club. So we might be able to, be introduced and do a full video on it ourselves. So we can't really comment about it. We don't know a huge amount about it, but
if
maybe
you get
for
one
next
down
week.
for review.
Absolutely. And then Portuguese Redneck. Hi guys, thanks for all the information and help. Started the FAC application and found a club nearby. Well, that's fantastic to hear, and I'm glad that we could help you with the information to start the sport of shooting, because that's what we're all about. But yeah, on to the...
is the club KFC by any chance?
Yes. Kentucky Firearms Club, can't rate them enough. So CCI Clean, what's your views on CCI Clean ammo?
You've had some experience with this recently. I've always thought that it's just CCI standard.
Well, the velocities on it, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did have the two boxes in front of me. It is basically mini mag without the wax. And a lot of people complain about the wax on mini mag. I know it is a little bit dirty, but really we should all just man up. But you've been saying as well that 2.2s, they need that grease to work.
So because 2.2 is not a tapered cartridge,
Mm-hmm.
it needs wax on it in order to be able to extract, especially since most 2.2 semi-autos are blowback.
Mm-hmm.
So CCI Clean is probably great in a bolt action where you've got the leverage to open it, but then why do you need it?
Well, they have the red tip. You never normally want a red tip, trust me.
No, you should see a doctor.
But
Purple's okay, apparently.
Purple? I guess I'll find out tonight. So it's got this red coating on it, which I believe is going to be a substitute or some sort. It's going to be a coating that's is going to replicate the wax. Now,
see, here's the thing: is polymer coated bullets are actually quite a big thing.
but is it?
It's
polymer?
like a powder coat, yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people use like polymer coated bullets, and they're great. They don't really have any real benefits apart from being slightly cleaner to handle, because you don't get lead dust in your fingers. But we're talking about cases that wouldn't normally be lubricated anyway. Like a 9mm blowback has got enough pressure in it that it doesn't need the wax in there to cycle properly and things like that. I don't think it's going to make a big difference in a 2.2 round. And actually, I think the lack of wax is a detriment. Like, it needs to have some lubrication on there.
So basically, either clean off the excess wax yourself, or just wear some gloves. Now, in terms of what my views are on the CCI Clean, I've only ever shot with it once, and unfortunately, it was a bad experience. And this actually ties me into a topic that I wanted to talk about, and so I'll sort of combine the two. I had a Lantac Raven down the week gone. I'm sure you might have seen the photos of it on the Facebook page, and it didn't go very well. I was very impressed with the SF-15 Lantac that was down here a few weeks ago. There were a lot of issues with the Raven. Now, I don't know if it was this particular rifle or whether it is a general issue with Lantacs, or Lantac Ravens, but one of the issues that we had was that I started shooting it with CCI Minimag, and there were a few issues with that, not related to the ammunition. And then the subscriber that had bought it down, he was shooting CCI Clean, and it would not run. And it was, he'd put the mag in, click, and it wasn't even light striking. And this happened maybe 4 or 5 times, and it was like, right, okay, why don't you try some mini-mag? So I gave him a mag of my mini-mag, ran through it okay, and then I was like, well, try your CCI Clean again. Put the CCI Clean in, and it just started running.
See, I think, like, I wasn't there at the time to have a look at it, but it sounds to me like there's something a bit of dirt holding the bolt face away from the breech. But it could have been a number of things, like a Lantac Raven is an AR-15 with a CMMG conversion kit in it.
Yes.
And those conversion kits need to be installed correctly, and you do take them in and out constantly, and it's very easily just to like not put it in properly or something like that. So it's something to consider.
A slightly.
And we've also had a slight argument about this, haven't we? Because you don't
argue? What are you talking about?
You said that you didn't see the value in paying essentially £1,000 more for a nice receiver set, whereas I see a lot of value in buying a nice receiver set.
I mean, which I find really odd, because you are a function over form guy, and I still don't know what performance increase a nice shiny receiver gives you.
Well, I'm not talking about the Raven because I haven't actually seen the upper in the flesh. We've had the lower here for a while. I haven't seen the upper in the flesh for ever. Mm-hmm. So some of the things that I think of when I think of a high-end AR-15 receiver set, like the battle arms that we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of roll pins, they've got screws, like custom-made screws, so that when you're modifying and playing with stuff, you're not constantly driving out pins and scratching your receiver up. You're undoing it and redoing it.
Well, again,
it's got built-in, what do they call it, the AccuWedge type thing.
Yeah.
Well, and the Raven has that, because we've looked at the lower here. It has it, but
it does. But a caveat to the review that I did, it was an 18-month, 2-year-old Raven. So some of the features that you now get in the more modern, well, in today's Raven, wasn't present in this gun. Which I believe they were at similar price points even 2 years ago, and really for the one that was put in my hands today, last week even, it's horses for courses, and I always say I can understand why people would like it, but it's like with the battle arms, it's a very, very distinctive upper and lower set.
But then you're talking about the looks. I'm talking about the functionality.
But again, the functionality, it functioned worse than the Forge SF-15.
Yeah. Again, I think it's probably something to do with the CMG set.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll move on. There will be a full video of that with my trials and tribulations. But there is a very important question, because you guys are probably fully aware that I'm certainly a bit of a petrol head. Connor Butters, Ferrari or Lamborghini? Now, I can answer this question without even saying anything, because I actually have my motivation, my daily motivation, on my desktop.
And it is a Ferrari.
Sacrilege. That's dream car, dream spec, Lamborghini Huracan Performante in black with the gold wheels. Mwah! Love it. So yeah, although there are some Ferraris that I would have over that car, maybe like, a LaFerrari, but who wouldn't? But yeah, like starting a Ferrari or Lamborghini question is like a Browning versus Beretta question. It's probably best we don't get into it, because you know what we're all going to say on that that particular debate. Steve, one for you, Connors. Steve Warburton, do Magload make a 30-degree safety for a mil-spec AR?
Stop asking. So, whilst it's been pointed out to me several times that I can very easily make a plastic safety for an AR, yes, I can. As a matter of fact, the Smith one fits a mil-spec gun anyway. It just sticks out a bit either side because the Smith receiver's a bit wider. I don't really want to do a plastic one just yet because, as some of you will know, I've been working on an all-singing, all-dancing metal one, but then the more I think about it, the more I think we should probably have like a plastic element AR-15 one and a metal pro AR-15, but
it's in development.
It's in development. I mean,
that's your standard response.
The thing is we could actually just drop the AR-15 one tomorrow.
Stop saying things like this. Just a caveat, like unless I just missed it. Like the 1522 will work in a mil-spec.
Will work in a mil-spec. Like literally, all I do is just take that geometry, which works perfectly, and just shorten it to fit AR. Maybe just do that.
Watch this space. Keep an eye out on the Magload page tomorrow.
I think we should just do that, because the thing is we've been developing this AR-15 one for so long.
Yeah.
And with what happened today, I see that sort of like getting further and further away. So maybe we release the plastic one, and then once we're ready to go for our all singing, all dancing one,
two tiers. I mean, again, some people it's money no object. They want the best of the best, and some people are budget conscious. So
quite frankly, you say that. I mean, the plastic safety works absolutely fine. Like, you would have no performance benefit between the plastic and the metal one. Just I wouldn't rate the plastic one for semi-auto 223 use.
But doesn't, like, really between a 2.2 and a 2.23 there should be no difference?
It's just more percussion going on in the gun.
Okay. Leslie Woods, hi, starting a small arms club at work. Got a digger coming next week to dig out a range. Should I inform FAO so he can come and inspect the range?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the digger on site, you at least need to tell him how many bodies you're burying.
No.
I actually replied to him in a message below anyway saying give me a call.
Okay.
Because he's got a lot to think about.
Well, you do have a lot to think about, but just as a quick caveat, your firearms licensing department has absolutely nothing to do with range approval or range safety. The best, again, Alex will be able to
basically
go through
exactly that. There's nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
They're going to be really unhappy.
Yeah.
But it's still nothing to do with them.
No.
You just got to address it in the right way and do other things so that when they do come and check, you can say, this is nothing to do with you, but here's all the documents.
Absolutely. The only thing that they can actually sort of monitor or police in a way is if people are adhering to their conditions on their FAC. As long as people are shooting within the terms of their FAC,
which will be appropriate insurance in place and all that kind of thing.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you have all seen that on your FACs before. It's basically copy and paste for everyone. So yeah, but in terms of actually building the range, there are really good books out there, guidances that as long as you build the range to those specifications, which is pretty much MOD specifications, no one's going to be able to say anything. What I wouldn't do is look at any of the Full Metal Jacket Rangers videos and take any inspiration from them.
They got away with it for quite a while.
They've still got away with it.
Well, yeah, like Define get away with it.
They were sending
They
round
were taken to
got
court.
away with it.
Yeah, they were taken to court and they didn't get prosecuted.
They got prosecuted for the wrong thing.
In the first instance, let's say. Smerald, hi Daniel, how's it going? Thanks for joining.
Are we looking at the Catch-22 question?
Yeah, in a Chris, is the Catch-22 or better mag system a viable choice?
The better mag system is the better choice.
Yeah, I wouldn't put a Catch-22 in a Chris, would you?
It's not that, because I think it might even come stock with a Catch-22.
What, the Chris?
The Chris, I'm not entirely sure. Actually saying that, I don't know if a better mag system would fit, because better mag's designed for
Mil spec.
Well, it's designed for the CMMG.
Yeah. Okay.
So, we've got one down here. You can come and test fit and see if it works. I mean, the Catch-22 is okay, but it's supposed to be a cheaper alternative to the better mag adapter, and the better mag adapter is like a £90 bit of kit. So, yeah.
I mean, again, talking about the Lantac SF15, that has the better mag adapter and the CMMG bolt conversion, and that ran really, really well. And the reason I would advocate going for the better mag adapter is because, of course, you can then use the 15-22 magazines, which are some of the most reliable 2.2 magazines that I've ever come across. Mm-hmm. It's actually one of the Achilles heels of the Ruger is its magazines.
That's why I switched away from it. Yeah.
You know, if Ruger 1022 could fix its magazines, it would be very, very hard to sort of beat for a competition gun in terms of reliability and accuracy. But yeah, the 1522 mags. I mean, one of the original mags did meet its maker the other day.
They do have a life. They have a shelf life.
Well, it's all plastic, isn't it? Plastic wears.
It's not just that it's plastic, because yes, the feed lips wear.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually one thing the Titman really did do right was the little metal tabs for the feed lips.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing that they did
right at the high wear point.
Yeah.
But the Smith mags are like glued or ultrasonically welded or something like that, and they will split along that seam line at some point.
Well, that's exactly what happened, and I know we've made both. Have made countless videos on the...
Oh, you still got that dead mag?
Yes, it's over in the box.
We need to go laser engrave it.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
All the penises.
I was just... Yeah, okay, penises.
Penises for everyone.
Oh, mostly
So a lot of people ask about the McFadden lightning loaders.
Yep.
And there's, I feel, a lot of misconception about them. Yes, they do indent the bullet head. There is always a mark on a bullet head when you've loaded it. And yes, it does apply more force to the magazine as you're loading it. So take Ben Ducker.
Only when you get to that last couple of rounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
But someone like Ben Ducker, serious top-level competition shooter, for practice, he will use the McFadden Lightning loaders. For competition, he will hand load them, and that's just because there might be just a slightly, odd loaded round in there that could cause a stoppage, and he's just not willing to take the risk. Yes, it does, I would say, overall give a little bit more wear to the magazines using the Lightning loaders, but again, I had 2 original magazines with the Smith & Wesson 1522. One met its maker, 5 years, 6 years after after it being first used, and the other one is still going strong.
On that note, they're not being made like they used to.
Oh, they are not.
They are not. We have noticed some significant quality control drops.
That's probably a good idea for a video, actually.
Yeah, but we're noticing the mag wells getting tight. We're
Yes.
noticing logos stamped on the piss and all sorts.
Well, it's not even on the piss. It was the detail of the logo as well.
Yeah.
Like there were sort of knobbles and
It's
bobbles
like
on it.
Molds are getting worn out, and
Yeah.
they're not maintaining them.
So this is actually really evident if you guys have watched the mag loading of 1522, where there's actually a subscriber, John, who ordered a completely kitted out 1522 from Blue Fieldsports here, and during the video I fitted the mag well, and I'm doing mag changes, and the magazine is not dropping free. Now that was one of the first times that I'd ever encountered that, and I thought, well, maybe I'd somehow put the mag well on wrong, which is like an impossibility.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's not like a friction fit one, which you have to like line it up just right.
Yeah, and just hope it stays on there
Yeah.
by sheer will. But there is definitely a tolerance change within the 1522. The mags are noticeably lower quality, and the mag well, as you said, that it's binding. But it's an easy fix, a little bit of use, and it will loosen up, or a bit of sandpaper, and it will loosen
I
up
don't
as
think
well.
it's anything enough to kill the gun off, but for a gun that has been well known for being really high quality despite its plastic construction,
Yeah.
we're starting to see slips in that quality.
Oh no, you can't say that the 1522 is high quality. It's a polymer toy, Connors. It couldn't possibly be a good competition
Yes,
gun.
a Glock's polymer too. So
Yeah. Oh no, you can't say a Glock's a good gun. Wait,
Oh,
you just
no,
said Glock's a good gun.
I'll take that back.
John Fuller, who I believe is actually the
Like
owner.
if they just made a Glock with a decent grip angle, people would get on with it.
Just adjust your grip. What's so wrong about that?
Uh,
John Fuller, who I believe actually is the subscriber that had that 1522, he's asked which silencer would you choose? Yeah, would you choose on a mini rifle for competition shooting, and what hold off would you anticipate at 100 yards? Similar to scenario to what would have been the Meon Valley.
Okay, I'm going to make 2 points here to you. One, you'll not use a moderator for competition because your shot timer will not pick up any of your shots.
Yeah.
Secondly, you were expecting about a 3-inch drop at 100 yards, I think it was.
But well, you say you wouldn't use one, but there are some competitions in the UK where you are required to, like the Meon Valley match, and also there have been others.
I wouldn't worry about it. That's not going to be the sort of match where anything's going to matter because no one's going to get any time scored.
But like,
we've talked about this actually in KFC about what can we do, and what we actually settled on was picking up the breech noise of the action cycling because it's the only reliable clickety-clackety that the shot timer is going to pick up.
yeah, but it's still not.
Yeah, that works, but it's not on the last shot, which wouldn't be to IPSC rules. It's on the last cycling of the bolt.
And in a proper high-level IPSC match, you're never going to see a moderator.
No.
So it's obviously something to be
Silverstone
aware
match
of.
you might, but not,
Silverstone, yeah.
but not a high-level IPSC match.
No, not at all. Daniel Smerald, it's £45 and I would like to try it in my lower. Thanks, Connors, I'll be down soonish. You want to try what?
I think it's talking about the better mag adapter.
Okay.
If they're 45 quid, Catch 22 is 25 quid, so why would you buy...
Look, it's a shiny new bit.
It's the same thing as you can buy a 20-year-old compressor for £2,000 or a brand new one for £4,000. You just buy the brand new one. It doesn't matter that you don't have the extra £2,000, you just buy it.
We've got Neil from Rack and Load here. Thanks for joining, Neil. Good to see you. I've been meaning to get in contact today. We've got a gun here that Otto would like you to review as well. It's the L9. It's too late in the evening for this. It's a new model that. What is Nala doing?
She was moving Elmer about.
Leave Elmer alone. He's had enough hard time in the last few weeks. There's a gun from Cotswold Classic Arms that I currently have in for review, and Otto wants Neil to review it after. But I was going to say, Neil, if you fancied coming down to Blue Fieldsports, you can collect the gun at the same time, and we can
That's just laziness on your part, really, isn't it?
No, it's efficiency.
Well, look. The crappy channels has had its turn. Now it's time to send it off to the big boys so they can do the review.
Yeah, but I know what I'm talking about when it comes to practical, because I have Connors.
So you don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't say that.
That's precisely what you said.
No, it wasn't.
I know what I'm talking about when it comes to practical. That was what you just said.
Because I have you.
Moving swiftly onwards.
But yes, Neil, it'd be great. We haven't had a proper meet up for a while, obviously with lockdown, so it'd be good to have you down here, and you can pick that gun up at the same time. And guys, if you want to learn a bit more about practical shooting and see the best mini rifle shooter in the country, Neil released a really interesting video with Josh Hicks. So he's the UK IPSC mini rifle champion. Yep. He did have his sights set on Florida for the mini rifle world shoot.
As did many people.
And that's been postponed, obviously, so we're going to hopefully follow him out there when he goes there. But yeah, go and check out that video, because it does give you an insight to the sort of level, the highest level that you can sort of reach here within the UK.
Dan Smerald saying the bolt catch in his is a bit chewed up. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Not at all. I mean, it just happens. I mean, especially when you start putting like JP triggers in it. You know, there's a common issue with the JP triggers, Daniel. Just eat through anything.
Chews up your catch.
Chew, motherfucker. For those of you that don't have the faintest clue what we're talking about, I wouldn't blame you. Daniel's Chris Defiance, heavily modified Chris Defiance. There is a full video on that as well on the channel if you want to go and have a look at that. Basically, he loves playing around with his guns. He loves buying all the Gucci gear with no idea and fitting as much as he can to the rifle. And he bought a JP trigger, which is a very, very nice trigger.
Very nice trigger.
But it doesn't. It's got like a protruded flat edge, and it was catching on the catch 22, so it wasn't striking properly on the bolt. And I basically took a Dremel to it, got rid of that issue, and then it still wouldn't work.
Instead of waiting for the actual gunsmith to come in and do the work on it.
I'm impatient. And Daniel had been asking you for weeks.
He hadn't asked me once about that.
Well, he'd asked me to ask you for weeks.
Well, the first I heard of it was when I saw you bent over his gun with a file. It's like, you need to at least take the catch out the gun first.
Well, I just thought, just eliminate...
It's fine. Dan will just get it Cerakoted again.
Yeah. We love you really, Dan.
We do. We love your pickled eggs too. He doesn't like your pickled eggs.
Yeah, please never give this man pickled eggs again. It's rather disturbing. Jay... it's just the shape. It's like it just brings images to my. Oh god, the sound! Mm-hmm. It's the sound as you're eating, and then the sound like a couple of hours later. James Minshall, is it sensible to have multiple uppers for an AR with one nice lower with a nice trigger?
Oh yeah, that's just the way to do it.
Well, that's like one of the main benefits of having the AR platform.
Yeah. I mean, you could have like a standard upper, you could have your 300 blackout upper, your 223 upper, your 22 upper.
Don't you like 6.5 upper?
Yeah, it's like, and you could have a scope on each upper that's zeroed for that gun. I mean, we're talking like a lot of money here, but you could have all of your guns and just one super nice lower with like your favourite trigger in it, your favourite grip, your favourite stock.
I mean, firearms licensing is not going to be your best friend.
Well, I don't see any problem with it, because if you have a slot for a 6.5 Creedmoor and a 300 blackout and a 223, you're just filling those slots with uppers instead of entire guns.
Does that work? Can you do that?
Yeah, I mean...
Because I thought you had to have like separate slots for barrels, so like separate slots for spare component parts. And is an upper a full gun? Oh, hello, Nala. Or is it,
I suppose
a component part?
I don't know, it's probably be a question for Alex, but I'd expect if you bought an upper, it'd go on your ticket as a complete upper.
Yeah, exactly. You can have a barrel on your ticket, you can have an upper on your ticket, you can have a lower on your ticket. They will specify what it is.
But that's what I mean, is that if you have a slot for a 223
rifle,
that's expecting the full rifle, you would actually need a modified slot for a 223 upper.
No, you can buy less. It's the most restriction.
Yeah.
So if you've got a slot for a rifle and you go and buy an upper and you haven't got the bottom bit, you just say, well, I haven't built the rest of the rifle yet.
Yeah. The other thing is a slot isn't actually supposed to specify the action of the gun that you're buying.
It can in some.
No, it can't.
No. Some forces will write 2.2 bolt action on your ticket because you've written 2.2 bolt action in your variation request. If you send in your variation request, don't tell them what action you want because you might change your mind. The slot is only for the calibre of gun that you're applying for.
Absolutely, but what should be done and what is done are sometimes a little bit different when it comes to firearms licensing. And the best example that I've seen of this, and actually the word of warning that I give to everyone, is Section 1 shotguns. Don't put any action down for a Section 1 shotgun, just ask for a 12 gauge Section 1 shotgun.
You don't even say Section 1 shotgun.
Or shotgun, yeah.
It's a 12 gauge shotgun. With a 12 gauge shotgun on your FAC, it is a Section 1 shotgun, and then you can go out and buy whatever you like, whatever suits your budget or your tastes.
And what I've seen is that some counties have specified the action, and it's caused people problems, because when you're first getting your FAC and you're still not maybe wholly experienced in the sport, you might think, right, I want to go and do standard manual, and then you gain some intelligence and decide that standard.
And then you realise your forearms aren't hairy enough for standard manual.
So you end up switching to standard, but you've put an application in for a pump action Section 1 shotgun, and then you're stuck. So then you've got to do a 1-for-1 variation. We can't even do a 1-for-1 variation. Can
you can. You can do 1-for-1 on it.
So you then got to put some kind of variation in, and it just causes all sorts of issues. A valid discussion with your FEO is, I haven't made my mind up yet. I am going to shoot in practical shotgun.
So you're going to need a 12 gauge shotgun.
Yeah, but I don't know yet if it's going to be standard manual, it's going to be standard, modified, open, or whatever. And I'm actually in that exact situation. Now, one of the guns, so I think I said I was going to apply for 3 Section 1 shotguns when Hampshire finally open up. One of them, without a shadow of a doubt, will be standard, and most likely 2 of them will be standard because I want a backup gun for a competition. And I still haven't made my mind up on the third, whether I'm going to sort of dabble in open or I'm going to go Connors' route and try standard manual. It scares me.
Standard manual is the division of gentlemen.
Neanderthal. But at least we can all take the piss out of open shooters, right?
Yeah, 100%.
People that you can't load. But I haven't.
You say that Ben's always as good as you at quad loading.
I beg to differ. He's got a bit. At one point, absolutely undeniably. But the other day when we were having a bit of a try, you could tell he'd got a little bit rusty. He's been in the open.
He's probably not quad loaded in 2 or 3 years.
Well, then it makes it more impressive. But Ben is just like.
Oh, David Kiddle's getting banned. How do I ban him?
No. What? Why?
How do I?
Yeah, Kiddle, I'm about to ban you, but before I shoot standard manual as well. So in your face.
Yes, David. Yes.
Right, I'm banning you too. How do I ban you?
I'm Callum Collins, and I approve this message. But yeah, I honestly haven't made my mind up if I'm going to go, for a standard manual or an open. So I don't want to tie that one down. If Hampshire really want me to tie down 2 of them to a standard gun, semi-automatic,
They can't.
They can't.
Well, the thing is, if you write on your variation
Yeah.
that you want a pump action shotgun, then that is precisely what they're going to write on your ticket. You just specify the gauge. And when they say type of gun, they don't mean the action type. They mean a 12 gauge shotgun, or a 2.2 rifle, or a 2.2 LBP.
And that's all you need to put down, isn't it?
And don't ever ask for a long barrel revolver, because again you end up limiting yourself. Like I've seen it before with someone with a 2.2, and they wrote 2.2 long barrel revolver, which meant when it came to buying a 2.2 pistol, they could only buy a revolver.
Okay, but I thought you had to make that distinction anyway.
No, you just say long barrel pistol, because a revolver's still a pistol.
Yeah, we had this with a customer specifically the other day, where he'd come in to pick up his Colt Walther and couldn't because he had a revolver in his license.
Yeah.
And I obviously checked it and saw it. So.
Well, what if you spin the Colt? Does it become a revolver then? No.
Moving strictly on. Callum Short Bus Collins. Yeah, I'm down with that.
What? No, Carl. You're meant to be on my side. Where's that come from? I'm wounded. Right, I'm going to remove him as a moderator. Apparently, Carl is late because he's picked up the unfortunate habit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. How do you just pick? Like, how does that just?
Right, I've got a lot of jokes to make about BJJ.
Just too easy.
It's too easy.
Rack and load. Connors needs to fully race up my M3K. What do you normally charge for a port job?
It's about 300 quid all in, but for Neil, I'll do it for you for 600.
Yeah, there you go. Good deal.
Yeah,
good deal. We get that M3K racing.
I actually, not too long ago, we had this customer send down an M3K for racing, and now an M3K is not a Benelli M2, you know, in price, but the guy wanted all the stops pulled out. We've shaped the safety. We even contoured the butt pad for him, and I've got loads of photos of the work because it was a really nice gun. And when it was all said and done, but man, we did a lot to that gun. Yeah, we.
But that's the thing with the M3K, right? You can go the full hog with it, and it will
spend less on a Benelli M2 stock.
And at the end of the day, the M3000 M3K is just a cheap M2.
I mean, the problems you're going to notice are things like wear and tear. But as we'll always say to people who buy Stoegers, run them as they are. As stuff starts to break, replace it where compatible with Benelli M2 parts.
Yeah.
And it's normally things like the firing pin and the extractor that go first. But actually, I've seen Stoegers that are still on their original extractor. So don't go out and rush out to buy this stuff. Just, you know, buy the gun, run it until things start to wear out, and then change just those bits. There's this tiny difference between the M2 and the Stoeger trigger, which means if you pair up the Stoeger trigger bow with the Benelli M2 hammer, you get a better trigger than either gun would ever have shipped with.
I always draw the comparison between Seiko and Tikka. You know, effectively they are the same gun.
They are the same gun, the same company, aren't they?
Well, they are. I mean, Alex is shaking his head furiously. No, you've got your mouth full. You can't talk with your mouth full. Don't worry.
No, finished. So I'm eating my dinner. They're not. So they were inherently different companies and separate. And then Seiko bought Tikka.
They're both clicky clacky guns. What more do you want?
Tikka are a lesser quality than Seiko. Seiko make more expensive rifles.
But just in the same way that Stoeger and Benelli are in essence two completely separate companies.
It's not like you're comparing
quality difference.
It's not like
there's a bigger quality difference between Stoeger and Benelli as compared to Seiko and Tikka, but it's along the same lines. I look at Seikos as refined Tikkas.
The thing is, you say that, but it's not like you're comparing a Tikka to like an RPA. You're not comparing a two locking lug bolt to a 4 locking lug bolt. You're comparing extremely similar actions to each other, and there's not a lot in it. You know, you don't get extreme accuracy until you go to a full locking surface like an RPA.
Yeah, Francis got all technical. I'm talking about.
Yes. There's a less differential in the prettiness between a Tikka and a Seiko.
I'm pretty sure no one's even asked about Seiko and Tikka. We're just going off on one.
Incidentally, the M3Ks. I think are still available, but the M3000s, they've stopped bringing those in now.
They don't.
Which is actually...
So I have a rare gun now.
You actually have a rare gun.
That's actually a bit of a shame, because one of the only issues with an M3K is you can't extend the magazine tube.
Can't you?
No, because it's one piece magazine tube.
That's a ball ache.
Yeah, but the M3000 you can. So what we would do for people who wanted to extend their tube is we'd buy the M3000 magazine tube, fit it to an M3K, and then give them a nice carbon extension on the end. But that's something to bear in mind then, I guess. That stock of M3000 tubes is probably going to dry up.
Funny enough, there is, I think there's a tube lying about somewhere to convert it, so that's now going up in value.
We should probably hold on to that.
So, what you guys talk? Callum,
The
it's
conversation seems to have died off after Short Bus Collins.
Yeah.
That was it. Everyone's just rolling on the floor laughing. They can't do anything else at this point.
Well, you want to talk about roll on the floor laughing. I don't think it's necessarily safe for the stream consumption, but we did have a little bit of a funny moment with Alex Florence and Matt Liddy the other day.
Yeah, okay, let's probably not safe for the stream.
Well, they don't call it up, do they? So Carl Volt, Callum, it's weird. It's a weird thing, but I was tricked into BJJ. That's always how it starts by the wife. Oh, explain that one, please. I think you finished Connors there, and by the sounds of it, you finished your wife. Of the last policeman who gave me a what? Sorry, this just keeps getting better and better. It's a weird thing, but I was tricked into BJJ
By the wife of the last policeman who gave you a £550 speeding. Is that how you got out the speeding ticket?
There's so much more to that story you're not telling us, and it's probably not safe to put out online. Mahmood X, I wish the M3K was available here. Might have to buy one in the UK and import it. Actually, importing guns from the UK isn't actually that difficult. It's getting them into the UK.
I don't actually know about that.
The UK is like, well, if you've got a gun here, you're probably pretty alright as it is. So we're sort of let you do what you want.
Is that a thing? Yeah. Okay. Right.
Well, you think of all the restrictions in place. Where are you? Where are you based? We have been speaking over email, and I think you have said where you're based and where you live.
While you're waiting for that, Dan Smerald's asking about workout routine that directly affects your shooting skills, cardio, agility, or a mix of everything. Now, I'm not really one to talk much about exercise, considering I do none. However, the one thing that really does make a resounding difference is core work. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to be skinny or anything like that. But if you've got a strong core and you can hold a gun steady leaning around a corner, you're going to be quids in. You will have advantages over a lot of other people who don't have a strong core.
Yeah,
and
it's really the very technical stages where there's balance boards or very narrow passages or like a Cooper tunnel. Yeah. Keeping yourself upright and shooting through one.
Once you have core strength, you'll be able to load in the Cooper tunnel, and it's not a problem. Because people seem to have this fear of loading in Cooper tunnels. Like, I'm going to fall over or hit a slap. But actually, if you can hold yourself stably and you can tuck yourself up nice and tight and load in the Cooper tunnel, it's not a problem.
And Mahmood X is saying he's from the Czech Republic, and I can't see any issue with importing a gun from the UK to the Czech Republic. You can post in one.
Within Europe to a dealer in another European country. A dealer, not him.
Yeah.
I can literally pass the balls.
So get in contact with Alex via rfd@bluefieldsports.uk.com.
No, rfd@blue.uk.com.
rfd@blue.uk.com. Yeah.
So I just had to allow the comment from Daniel Smerald to get flagged as a potential hate speech, but Cooper tunnels are sexist against tall people.
See, it pays to be short. It pays to be short. Absolutely. I might not be able to shoot over a barricade, but
Dan has had a bad experience with a stage that was not well designed. That's where I think that is coming from. The stage was not designed. Like the stage was designed to be shot out of, but was not designed to be gotten into and out of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get someone who's like 3 inches taller than the person who designed the stage, and the person who designed the stage is fairly short. And you can't. You're right there.
Yeah, I'm okay.
And
Carry on.
Yeah, you have problems.
I do like this comment, Ricardo Byron. Elmer looks like he's just seen Callum's search history and is in shock. Callum searching best pump action.
That's not a shock. That's disappointment.
Yeah, I know. Elmer knows some pure filth sites. Why do you think we keep him locked up in the gunroom? He's too. No wonder Warner Brothers are taking his guns off of him. The stuff that he's seen, Jesus. Moving swiftly on, we did have a question about the straight pull. Have we talked about the straight pull yet?
What straight pull?
The one right in front of us. How did that get there?
It's a straight pull. I don't know what you guys are so
Yeah, it's
fussed
a
about.
2C3 straight pull. Moving on.
Yeah.
No, this is a collaboration effort between a number of people and companies. It's brand new to the UK. This is actually a very early prototype, and of course we're on YouTube, guys, so we can't touch it, we can't handle it.
We can't even lick it.
Well, that's not handling. You can't handle it. How does it taste? Wait.
My gun on us. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh yes. Oh, it's a nice wet patch. How did it taste?
Cold.
Cold. Can something taste cold?
That did.
Apparently so. So let's have a little bit of a talk about this, because it's a little bit special. So obviously on a normal AR straight pull here in the UK, you have the side charger usually milled into the upper there. But that's not really the best position, because you're always having to move your hand from the forend, or what the CSR guys do is they end up rocking backwards and forwards, but it's still not exactly the most comfortable. As you can see, the charging handle has actually been moved out the front here to the forend, which means that you can...
It's right by your hand.
Yep.
Where you're going, where your grip is going to be. It's going to be faster to rack, faster to operate.
And it's ambidextrous. There are actually two on each, well, one on each side. So for your left handies out there, and for your right handies, so you can hold the rifle steady, get an aim shot, and rack it out front. Now, something to...
The current intent is that the gun will ship, or might not ship with multiple different styles of charging handles, but lots of different styles of charging handle will be available. I think it's kind of undecided as to whether or not it will ship with them all.
Now,
so you can have like one that sticks out, one that's leant forward like that. And
now this is going to be available from Blue Fieldsports. Can we say what it's going to be called? So the name for this gun is the Blue Fieldsports Falcon, and that's because it basically looks like wings with the two charging handles. We don't have a final price at the moment, but we know it's going to be sub £2,000, and pre-orders are open for it as we speak. Originally there was going to be 5 on the first batch, and I think there's only 1 or 2. There's 2 left of that batch, but if enough people...
And that was just like you telling 3 people about it, and they all bought one.
So
crazy people.
Alex would be able to increase the first batch order if enough people are interested. But yeah, we're expecting maybe 2 to 4 weeks additional development of the rifle,
which really isn't a lot.
It's not. I mean, it's functional. It works. It's just the refinements, which are always the nitty gritty and always have loads of cans of worms with them. But after that sort of 2 to 4 week further development, we're expecting 6 to 12 weeks after that. So probably about 3 to 4 months in total before the first batch is going to be here available to collect. So if you are interested in the UK's first front side charging AR, and it's 223, but there are going to be other calibers available.
Well, like the way it's designed, you can put any caliber you want in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's an AR. You know, it's going to be like Lego for you. Obviously, the forend is going to be unique, but you should be able to fit any barrel on it. Yeah. And yeah, it's something that actually we've been trying to do for a long time, and actually rewinding back to when we went out to Utah in 2018, we tried to collaborate with Cobalt Kinetics to do something very, very similar. It's not, unfortunately, that never came to fruition. Can we talk about who we're working with on this?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I don't know whether he wants to be associated with it. I'm not hiding it.
Okay.
He's on the stream.
Yes.
You can hear me saying that.
So
I think if it all goes wrong, it's better that no one knows.
yeah. So we are but the person that is involved with this, the other company, are very highly regarded. You definitely would have all heard of them, the company and the person responsible for a lot of very innovative guns here in the UK. So it's got a lot of sort of provenance already with who's been involved in the development. But yeah, if you're interested, if you want to place an order or just find out anything more about it, then get in contact with Blue Fieldsports, rfd@blue.co.uk.com, or just go to the Blue Fieldsports website and find the contact details there.
You really need a simpler domain.
You do.
It's 4 letters plus the domain. It doesn't get simpler.
But you've got 2 domains. .uk.com.
Yeah, well, you buy me blue.com.
But yeah, it's like really interesting. I will be doing a full video on it at some point. Yeah, it's something a bit new, but interesting, and that's what we're all about. So,
Dan's asking, would we be selling the upper by itself? Well, here's an interesting thing before Alex answers that question. One of the things that Alex intends to do with this is actually offer it as like a skeleton package.
Yeah.
So without the stock, without the grip, so that you can put all the stuff that you want on it, but an upper only?
Yeah, we can do it. I'll do anything.
I mean, technically, from the strip, anything.
Anything.
They involves guns.
We've got it on camera. It's
You said it,
recorded.
not us. He's turning bright red, guys.
That's why I don't go on camera.
I don't think I've ever seen him blush quite like that.
He actually matches the wine. It's quite funny. But yeah, I mean, the stripped gun is pretty much just going to be a bare upper and lower.
Well, we're not. Don't give away too much because you might give away the secret sauce if you carry on.
Yeah,
talking about that. No. But yeah, I don't think an upper is out of the question here. Also, this is not the final colour set of the gun.
Oh no, it's going to get full Cerakote.
So I don't know if you guys have ever seen this car colour that you get. It looks black, but in like very direct sunlight, you can see like the slightest hint of blue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the gun's going to be Cerakoted in that, and all the accents, so the controls and things, are going to be like a brighter, more pastel sort of blue colour.
But if somebody wants a custom job, then that is available as well.
Yeah, I mean they're getting Cerakoted anyway, so if they want,
if you want a custom colour scheme, the world is your oyster on that. Hi mum, thanks for joining. Number 1 fan. Guys, again, if you have any other questions, anything you want to talk about, hit them in the stream. Again, a quick reminder, if you're here watching, I can see there's like 60 people watching, and there's only 25 likes. Like, just hit the thumbs up button. Have you not hit the thumbs up button?
I'm hitting the thumbs down button.
It's you every week, isn't it?
Of course it is.
But yeah, it makes a huge difference to the YouTube analytics. So keep the conversation flowing, but we do have some things that we want to talk about ourselves.
Cargs was asking a question about Magload mag tubes.
Yeah.
They are made to order, but you can either configure it yourself very easily on the website by putting in the number of rounds you want and the gun you have, or you can actually tell us a specific to the millimetre measurement that you want, and we have a tolerance plus or minus a millimetre or so. But they're made to order. They take about 2 weeks to make, and shipping to Norway is no problem. We've actually shipped some orders there
Recently, yeah. Norway seems to be a bit of a hub at the moment.
We need to send some stuff to Vagard.
Yes.
Yes, he has.
I've had the label sat there. That's down to you.
Yeah, he's good. I've got a list, and it's getting longer.
Oh no. Vagard is part of the team Magload. He's a super high. Or he's actually the Norwegian rifle champion. Have I got that correct?
He's the Nordic rifle champion.
Serious rifle shooter. But he shoots both mini rifle and IPSC rifle. So makes all the use of
his Smith & Wesson 1522.
Yeah.
He won it.
He won it.
He won it in a competition.
Props.
Tarek's on stream. Hey Tarek, keep an eye out in your post box in the next couple of days because there's something on its way to you. Long overdue.
As long as you give me his address.
Oh yeah, Tarek, we don't have your address for some reason, so if you wouldn't mind just emailing us through.
This is great. It's direct customer feedback.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I found that really strange because I thought.
No, because he came to the shop, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it was a direct sale. So Tarek, please drop us.
I have his address.
Of course you do.
Okay,
that makes sense.
We've got your address.
We've got your address. Don't worry. Ignore everything we've said. A few other topics that I wanted to talk about. Something that actually news that just broke just before going live. Unfortunately, the game fair has been postponed for this year.
Yeah, boring ass shit anyway.
You didn't come last year.
Yeah, it's because it's boring.
Just full of tweed and wood, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh god, no.
Just for that, I'm going to dig up a photo of Connors and what he looks like when he goes game shooting.
Oh, but that's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Exactly, it's
It's
amazing.
glorious.
He's like my Arabian Prince.
Have you actually got a photo?
Probably somewhere. I'm gonna search for it.
It's definitely it's on my Facebook, 100% on my Facebook. There's a nice group photo. So the game fair's been postponed. So I mean, we sort of knew it was going to come anyway. This news was going to come. So
yeah, there's a lot of things that were going to be on that are just now getting cancelled.
Well, someone I saw commented on the on that announcement. Basically, 2020 is postponed. Anything that is meant to happen in 2020, wait till 2021.
There are a lot of
Countryman shows still taking orders for the 19th and 20th of September.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, this thing that there's a lot of people trying to keep stuff going for 2020, and I know KFC has made a big effort towards that.
Yeah, and fair play.
We'll talk about that more in a bit, but the fact of the matter is, the odds are stacked against you if you're trying to run an event at the moment, because let's say you can even run it, 50% of the people aren't going to go for fear of infection, and the other 50% are probably going to get infected.
Yeah. Well, this is the conversation that I had with Paul from the Northern Shooting Show, is that there's a go or no go point for them, and if they say yes, they are on the line for a serious amount of money, which insurance won't cover, and the event will demand, and all this. So good 2 or 3 months beforehand, they need to make the decision: are we going ahead or are we not? And if there's any uncertainty at all, they can't risk the sort of financial commitment that things are going to be okay by the time that show comes around. So completely understand it. It is all sort of business decisions, but missing 1 year is one thing. If these shows were to sort of dig their heels in and try and go ahead and it be an absolute write-off, it may kill the shows completely. So they do need to sort of protect themselves. And I completely understand it. This year is by no means normal whatsoever. So we just have to wait and see. Hopefully we are still going to get some sort of level 3 IPSC matches this year. That's what we're waiting for.
We're hoping at the very least that the British Masters still goes ahead.
Yes.
Because it is the tail end of September. Are we going to talk about cancelled matches now?
Yeah, so we can go into that.
There's a big list of them. So KFC, unfortunately, have had to cancel the next match at the Meon Valley venue, and all further matches at the Meon Valley venue due to a noise complaint from residents, which is a huge shame, but there's nothing you can do about that. CISO, the Central European Shotgun Open, normally referred to as a mini world shoot, has also been cancelled. This is after a lot of people have been messaged by the organisers and have made reservations and bookings and stuff. Unfortunately, I do think a lot of people managed to get their money back on things, so it's not been a huge waste of time. And of course, the organiser is carrying over all match entries to next year.
I mean, and it is run every single year, so we just have to look forward to next year even more. And we're talking about this in terms of Magload. We reckon that there's a lot of people that have already written this year off, and actually in some ways this could see some real sort of competitive enhancements, because people are basically writing this year off, so they're not spending all the time and money on this year's competition season. But what it's giving them is an extra long period for them to train for next year, to really perfect,
or to not train.
Or to not train, yes. So we reckon we're going to see quite a shooting, or certainly a practical shooting boom next year. And because all the world shoots have been delayed, it gives everyone that extra year to get to get practicing, to get training for the world shoot. So I reckon the next world shoots in the next sort of 3 or 4 years are going to be pretty intense.
Something really interesting that came up regarding the world shoots being delayed, which I don't think we've covered up on a stream before, is the question was raised, and rightly so, by many people: what about the juniors who would have been junior for this world shoot, who are no longer junior for the next world shoot?
Yep.
And the answer came back: well, if they're not junior when the world shoot starts, then they're not junior.
Well, you could say that, what if it was every 4 years and instead of every 3 years?
That's basically the logic it came back with.
Yeah.
You have to bear in mind that there are juniors who have been training to compete against their peers, who come the year after, they're no longer competing against those peers. Their new peers are going to be people who have probably 10 years on them. Yeah,
I mean it's shit, but it is what it is. You can either sit and mope about sit and mope about it, or you can get on and get busy, basically. And And that's the approach that we've taken with it.
Yeah.
You can sit there and cry about it, or you can get on. And
Well,
make
we've
the best
just got to hope, because our next big thing is Kentucky.
Well, yeah.
Fingers
So
crossed. That's all good.
there's a bit of confusion. Some people saying that America isn't going to be opening up, or you're not going to be able to travel to America.
Well, apparently there's this announcement that America suspended travel from the UK until December 31st, but I haven't actually found that anywhere.
Yeah, so they haven't announced that they've suspended it. They basically have authority from Congress to ban travel from the UK until...
So they've got the authority to, but they haven't actually done it.
Exactly, and I think this
Right.
is what some people, mainly Daniel, are struggling to separate, is that they have the power and the authority to stop travel until the 31st of December. Whether or not they choose to enforce that is another question. But still, I can't find an answer whether you could travel to the States right now or not.
No.
However, luckily, we've just entered July. We've got July, August, September.
Yeah.
We've got 3.5 months until the trip. 3.5 months. I mean, this whole epidemic and pandemic has sort of, it's come about within the last 3 months. So it can easily go away.
It's not really going to be a question in 3 months' time. It won't be a question of like who can go on the trip. It's more like who will survive and what will be left of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard that Seattle's a really nice place to visit at the moment.
Are we going to talk about the Chaz?
The Chaz is actually anything to do with America at the moment is a very dangerous conversation. However, I do have a note here to talk about, and my note is simply cul-de-sac commandos. So
Are we
let's
going to talk about that?
Let's just stick to the facts.
The facts or the memes?
Yes. So obviously there's a lot going on in America at the moment. It's not exactly the best place to be. So sort of lucky that we've got 3.5 months, because hopefully they retake half the cities that have these Chaz zones.
No, there's only one Chaz, isn't there?
No. I think there's multiple cities that
Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. It is Capitol Hill.
Yeah, but there's
it's like 4 blocks.
There's also, what was the other one? Because there's Chaz and then there was Chomp.
No, they renamed themselves to Chop.
Or Chop, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still the Capitol Hill.
But I thought there were multiple areas around the states that were like this, that had been sort of captured by protesters.
Well, Stephen Wolf is saying that there is one in Minneapolis as well, and as people are rightly pointing out, Chaz is no more.
Yeah, got bulldozed. Like they went in with the bulldozers. So
is that what happened?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There was like they were okay, 0 fucks mode engaged. And they just went in. But also, I'm sure all of you have seen it. The couple in outside their mansion with the AR-15 and the handgun. I mean, let's get it out of the way. Horrendous gun handling, horrendous muzzle.
But I love how the only people focusing on that are the antis.
Yes. They obviously shouldn't be allowed to have a gun. Well, what happened there? Actually nothing. When you break it down, what happened at that house that day? Nothing. Right? No one got hurt, no one got shot, no one was really threatened. It's really...
Well, they were going to storm the house, weren't they?
Well, yeah, they'd bent the gates back and all this. So, obviously very dicey ground, me getting onto the conversation of self-defence.
So let's move on from it.
But go and check it out.
I'm going to say it rather than you, because brigger for me. Right? But no, something did happen. People tried to break into their property and they defended it. No shots were fired. No one was hurt. They defended their property. That's what happened.
So I'll say something. I'll give a little bit of interjection, and this I've not fact checked it, but I've gone through in my head on this. Do you think it would have been the same outcome? So no one got hurt, no one was attacked, if they had have come out of their house with baseball bats?
No, they would have been beaten up.
So I made a video about it, which isn't out there anymore, but I made a video ages ago, basically comparing the use of your fists, a knife, a baseball bat, and a gun for self-defense. And my overarching sort of point was that actually a gun could be the least lethal option.
I think that conversation is a lot more
That is whether I'm going to stop you, but I agree.
I also think that conversation is a much more complicated one than we're going to be having tonight.
Well, yeah, it depends on so many different variables.
Yeah, I
and
don't
stuff
think
like
you can unequivocally say.
No, absolutely.
But,
But I think in that situation, if they'd have come out of their house with baseball bats, it would have been a whole different story.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving. So, pink polo, yes.
We're
GTA
about
Vice
to
City
get
to the
something
max.
up on screen.
What's
I don't know.
It's either
No,
going to
I
be
forget
Connor's.
that you can see that. You have to wait. I'm not going to put it in right now. It'll
Okay,
take a few
alright.
minutes to get there. So
Okay.
You just can't get the staff these days.
Something very, very exciting that's going to be coming to Gunroom TV very soon. James Golding on game. You might have seen James Golding about. He's been in a few of the videos. He actually came out to Prague with us for 3 Gun.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He's in the Sinclair video. We've done actually a video on specifically on him. So he's a very well regarded chef. Is the group chef director for the Pig Hotels. If you've never been to a Pig Hotel, do it. Like
I actually meant to ask, is it expensive?
yes.
Okay.
The food isn't like it's like a nice restaurant sort of price.
Yeah.
The rooms there
I
are
think I might take the missus down there.
it's well worth it because they've got them all over the country. But
I have to say, like watching you edit the videos just made me so hungry.
yes, so we went down. So it's a new project for Gunroom TV, which we're naming Gunroom TV Food, and
There was some deliberations about the name, wasn't there?
the channel the channel is called Gunroom TV Food, but the series is going to be called James Golding on Game. So James Golding is hugely passionate about not just using game food within recipes more, but he basically founded, or was certainly one of the main people within the Field to Fork campaign. So he's very, very passionate about using local produce, using game, making game meat more sustainable, because, let's face it, there's a lot more that is shot than is eaten. And I think the best defense for us as hunters and shooters is to eat more of what is shot. And it becomes more...
I'm just going to step in there. There's a lot more of what is shot than eaten in the UK. And I mean eaten in the UK. Because the majority of our game, pheasants, partridge, not venison that gets eaten all here, is sent abroad.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to change. Okay,
So more eaten in the UK.
More eaten in the UK. The British Game Alliance has done amazing things.
I was going to say, so I had quizzical eyebrows when you were saying that, because as far as I was aware, most of the stuff from a game shoot,
everything that
goes
is
to
edible after a
dealer.
game shoot gets eaten. It's just not in the UK. That's the bit we're trying to
Okay.
change. So Hong Kong's a massive supplier from the UK, which is great, but we want to eat it here. Why are we exporting some of the best stuff that we make?
And why are we importing all the other meat?
Exactly.
We have this sort of plentiful supply of game meat.
I don't know, it depends. The reason why we're eating all this other meat is until Alex starts doing a driven chicken day.
Yeah, chickens don't fly so well. It's
Easier to shoot.
Yeah, it's too easy. And while we're talking about shooting,
You'd have
here
to allow
it is.
section 1s at that.
There's Connors in the centre there with his lovely tweed suit on. The jacket looks awesome too, and the rest of the team that shot on that day too. And he looks great, so he should wear it more often. I might make it gunroom wear actually.
It would be so hot during the summer. But yeah, so we're working with James Golding. We've already filmed 4 episodes, and the premise is it's food and meals that you can cook at home, following along to it. Not complex recipes, it's not like Michelin star complexity levels. It's just really good basic game food. We went down, it was Alex, CJ and I that went down. Unfortunately, Connors missed out. And we got to sample all of these dishes, and they were absolutely incredible. So if you want to learn a few great game recipes and cook along with James Golding, then keep an eye out on Gunroom TV for Gunroom TV Food and James Golding on Game. And there's going to be an episode or a video at some point on the channel where I will be cooking with James Golding, and he's going to try and make a chef out of me. I mean, it's a pretty big challenge. I'll give him that.
I've seen you with a hand file. I don't think you can handle it. Mamadix is talking about shooting wild cows and selling it to Tesco. I don't think Tesco accepts anything other than horse meat nowadays.
That's an old one. You've got to leave it alone
Was
now.
it Tesco's or was it some? Was it like
Everyone was doing it.
everyone was doing it?
It was just about who got caught.
Yeah.
That was all. It was like, Sainsbury's going, bad Tesco, bet you burn it, get it out the back now, get it, go, bad Tesco.
It tasted alright to me.
Well, horse isn't a bad meat. Have you ever had a horse burger?
No.
It's very-
Well, apparently I probably have quite a few times.
I've had a horse lasagna, right? Horse. I had a horse
I
burger.
have. That time I ate some glue.
Oh dear. I've had a horse burger before. Like I knew it was a horse
I had
burger.
an ostrich burger.
I've never had ostrich.
Like that chain restaurant, Old Orleans, you can go in there and have like all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
It was somebody's 21st, and he decided he wanted to try a load of different meats, and there was horse. It was actually around the whole scandal because it was like, well, let's find out what horse actually tastes like. It's very, very rich. Very, very
imagine
rich.
it would be. Actually.
So one night it was horse. We had alligator, kangaroo. There was like a South Africa, like an African animal. Can't remember what it was.
Springbok.
No, it was a bit more. But anyway, a load of different meats, and they're all very, very tasty. Alligator tastes like fishy pork.
See, it's interesting you say that because I've had alligator.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone wants a food experience, there is a South African restaurant in Camden Town, London, and it is extremely expensive, but the food is utterly incredible, and it's all South African. And we had like steamed alligator on bamboo skewers and all that kind of stuff. And I thought it tasted like chicken, but it tastes more like chicken than chicken does. It tastes like chicken flavoured crisps chicken.
Okay. No, I got fishy pork.
The one that absolutely blew me away was Springbok.
Yeah.
It was like a really small like medallion of meat, but it was like the richest steak I'd ever had, but not like overpoweringly so.
Yeah.
And it had that smoky flavour as well because it was grilled, and that food was really, really good.
I remember what the other one was.
Yeah.
It was reindeer.
Reindeer.
Yeah, it was.
Actually,
I ate Rudolph.
I've heard that.
That was actually my favourite of the night. Thinking back, horse, very, very flavourful, very rich, but a little like overpowering.
Which is the thing, I suppose, like reindeer, springbok, venison. It's all that same family of meat, isn't it? It's going to be that
really
rich,
is.
steaky flavour. Although I tell you what did surprise me with its steaky flavour was pigeon. I now see pigeons as flying steaks.
Yeah, he runs around the garden all the time trying to catch him, feathers and all. So, World Gun Owners Association, take the piss all you want, but the couple concerned were well within their rights, as far as I'm concerned. And apart
They
from
were
some
within their rights. They're exercising the.
I mean, they're in America, the Second Amendment. You know that they were more than I mean, we're not taking the piss out of them.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
That's definitely a sexual innuendo.
No, it's a dish, and it is testicles.
Right. Okay.
And they come battered, and a lovely white sauce with them. It's very delicious.
I was tricked into eating testicles once.
Yeah, well, you were asleep and your mouth was open, all right?
No, I was once tricked into eating pork testicles. Went to a family barbecue, and one of my uncles was a butcher, and they were all standing around the bar. I was maybe like 9, 10 years old, and they're all standing around laughing around the barbecue. And my dad comes like, "Come over, try this." I was eating this bit of meat that he'd given me on a skewer. He's like, "How does it taste?" And of course, I told him how it tasted. Creamy. At which point they all started laughing because they later alluded to me that it was indeed pork testicles.
And it was in fact very creamy.
It was a creamy tasting meat. I didn't know how else to put it. Your vocabulary is very limited when you're at that age.
Did you only really get to the creaminess after a bit of sucking?
So, in my defence, the meat was cubed. There was no way of telling what it was originally.
Okay.
It wasn't round.
No, that's like someone hands you a testicle shaped meat. I don't care if how much you say it's not a testicle. It's not going in my mouth.
But if you pickle it and tell me it's an egg, I'll probably eat it without question.
Interesting. Pickled testicles. Oh.
Okay. This is now the English Testicles channel. Welcome all.
Although you know, we still seem to have some madmen following along with us. Pav 4570. Thursday is my new favourite day for reloading. This is the best program channel to listen to while reloading. Awesome. It's still something that I need to get more into.
You know
so
what?
many people ask about it.
I actually think that if someone watched the stream playing like a drinking game, like every time we said penis or testicle,
no, that could lead to alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, I know,
be
right?
careful.
Let's not encourage drinking of that scale.
We should have one night like
every time we make Alex blush. Drink.
Look, it was very, very hot earlier. That's what it was. It's having a hot flush. It's just calm your boots, so I put photos of testicles on the screen. Okay.
Oh no. Yeah, but we won't mind. We will create not create.
Don't put testicles on the stream. You get us pulled.
No. What? Pull testicles. Pull pork testicles. Anyway.
I have a story about pulled pork, but I won't tell it because my other half will get very upset.
Now I'm literally looking at pickled testicles.
Is that a thing?
Apparently so.
That does not look appetising, Alex.
I'm not going to put it out there.
Okay.
That was just for your benefit.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's not like pickled testicles. That's like preserved in formaldehyde.
Pickled. I mean that they actually look very scarily like your pickled eggs. Finally, I've been able to turn it against you. Xbox One Geeks has said, "Hi all. Do you know? Let's get back onto the shooting. That's why you're all here, right? You don't want to hear us talk about pickled testicles, or maybe you do. You're a strange bunch sometimes. Do you know of anyone that runs a practical gun club in Somerset around Taunton?
I saw that come up and I noticed that Dan mentioned Fruma District.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that down that way? Of course, you have got the tunnel. Now, they're not doing tons of practical shotgun, but I do believe that before lockdown started, they were looking at setting up some practical shotgun bays, so go and show them some love. You've got a few more options in the area compared to what you used to, because Fruma's always been there, but they've always been a bit more hidden up until recently. Not a lot of people knew that they were there.
I mean, again, we sort of touched on it last week, but some, for quite valid reasons, in some cases, clubs don't shout about themselves as much as I think they should, mainly because of security. But yeah, I mean, Froome is a very social media heavy club, so you should be able to find them quite easily. So yeah, go and check them out. Ricardo Byron, reindeer jerky is the nuts. Probably a bad choice of words.
I think he probably wrote that before we started talking about nuts.
But yeah, I can imagine. Anything jerkied, or apart from testicles, or biltong. We did have a little treat yesterday. Alex Florence brought us down.
And then we feel very, very guilty because due to some unforeseen circumstances, we kind of hardly spoke to him at all for the day.
We were planning a bit of training in preparation for the match on Saturday, which we found out was cancelled yesterday.
However, HMRC got in the way.
Yeah, thank you HMRC. They haven't actually got back to me yet, which is either really good news or really, really bad news. But I'm gonna, ignorance is bliss for the time being. Let's.
Can come down to Blue Fieldsports to try the 4570 and 338 Lapua. Alex?
No, unfortunately not. We could do some very funky stuff with a club shoot and have your club come and shoot here, but no, the law doesn't allow it, unfortunately.
You can come and see them. You just can't shoot them.
You come here, handle them. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we still haven't shot the 338.
No one's shot the 338.
Exactly. Well, apart from proof.
Apart from proof. Yeah, exactly.
Damn that proof.
At some point, the 4570 will be on my personal license as a bore gun, because that's one of the reasons I was interested in that. And then, yes, you can under the estates law. But currently, no, unfortunately not. So
really sorry about that, DATV, but you're more than welcome to come down and have a look. It's a shop,
Oh, Typhoon versus Derrier 12 gauge shotgun. Well, that's really... They're both very similar guns in performance and price. Mm-hmm. They're both AR platform 12 gauge shotguns. They both have the same reliability issues, and yet they're both seen on the world circuit. So I kind of don't know. I like the look of Derriers, and there are certainly more top-level shooters shooting Derriers than Typhoons. And I've heard a lot of horror stories about Typhoons, but that's just because we're exposed to them more here in the UK. We just don't see a lot of Derriers, we see a lot of Typhoons.
I mean, to be fair, there's a horror story with pretty much every box-fed shotgun there is, apart from the KL. No, I know horror. There are horror stories.
There are horror stories with the KL.
But we still don't know if that was user error.
That was 100% user error.
So, there's two instances of two different people that I could think of that were potentially user error.
The one who we don't care about besmirching was definitely user error, and the one that we care about besmirching was also definitely user error.
Okay, yeah. So if you use your KL correctly, it should see you through quite a lot. But yeah, box feds like.
Well, no, he's not asking about box feds. He's asking about Typhoon versus the Derrier. The Derrier is more widespread. There are a lot more top-level shooters using it, and I can't really tell you much more than that because neither of us have had much experience with either gun apart from what I've worked on here in the gunroom. So
yeah. I've missed a couple of questions on this. Well, I saw them, but we didn't get a chance to talk about them. But Manku Man has reignited that. What products, if you want to talk about them, I know sometimes you want to keep it under wraps, but what products do you have planned for the new machine?
So a few products which are going to happen as soon as I've got it all up and running.
Just to sort of as an intro into this, so if
we're talking about Lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan.
Lazy
Susan. You have to make it fucking difficult for me, don't you?
I could just call it dyslexia and see how you handle that.
Well, I'm pretty... You've just shut me down. I was going to say I'm pretty used to saying the word dyslexia quite a lot. It's my get out of jail free card. Oh no, sorry, dyslexia. I didn't see a stop sign. It said go to me. But anyway, so Magload became the proud owners of the Hardinge or Lathy Susan. Yeah, that's going to get really annoying.
I'm not sure I really want to call it that now.
But anyway, it's a dual-axis CNC lathe turning centre.
No, it's
dual spindle. Multiple axis, all the axis.
It has all the axis, all the spindles, and all the uppy-downy grabby arms.
There's a quick little video of it spinning up, and I'm running on the Magload page if you're interested in knowing exactly what we've been talking about, or we're talking about. You are making significant progress.
Yep.
So why don't you give a bit of an update of where you are with the machine?
Sure. If anyone knows how to overcome an error with an X-axis torque limiter threshold been reached, then I would very much like to hear from you. Apart from that, it's going great. Yes, so the machine has these torque limiters built in so that if you crash the machine, basically a ball pops out of the socket joint so that you don't kill it.
And you definitely didn't crash it.
No,
it's
a long story. Yeah. Basically, I can't hear the machine because of the compressor we've got, and I didn't hear it crashing into itself until I heard it go pop. Yes. It's fine though because it's got the safety thing built in.
It's sort of meant to do what it did.
Well, actually, it turns out when I was looking up how to fix this problem, we're kind of glad we got the machine we did.
Yeah,
because most machines don't come with this torque limiter clutch built in, and most machines you will just bend something horrendously. So I was kind of glad in that. At the same time, the instructions for fixing it seem a little agricultural. So
hit it with a bit of wood.
It's not hit it with a bit of wood. It's like put a bit of wood between here and here and just crank the handle until you hear it go pop. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, products are going to make.
Yes.
It's been no secret because we've been talking about firing pins for almost over a year now. The Magload Relier pin is still in development. It was basically finished. We just need to make it ourselves now. The material is actually here for the first batch of firing pins. So as soon as those are ready, they will go 1522 first. Then we'll go on to CMG and AR-15 and anything that needs it there after.
Anything that needs a firing pin.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of firing pins. So I sort of take it for granted because I made my own firing pin for my Supernova ages ago, but I forget sometimes that other Supernovas don't have my firing pin in, so we'll be making some of those, M2 firing pins, like all the firing pins you can imagine. The safeties, the Magload modular safety is going to be a thing on there, and of course muzzle brakes. And now this isn't our 2.2 muzzle brake. I'm talking about the full bore muzzle brake that we've had in development for quite a while. Will hopefully be made on there.
But things like charging handles, shotgun safeties,
Yeah, so
takedown
shotgun
pins.
charging handles, Benelli M2, Breeder, Stoeger, all the easy ones, they'll be done. And there's always this thing with me because I like having control surfaces made of plastic.
Mhm.
Then of course it's sort of cheap. Some people see it as cheapening the product, but I'm going to do what I think is best, and then if people don't like it, I'll make another one.
This is always like sort of your design process. Is that you design and release a product for you? Because that's
No. I don't. I never design and release a product for me. I always design and release it after input from several other people. The concept might be for me.
But what I mean is ultimately the birth of Magload was you making things for you.
Yeah, but what made Magload was
Yes.
I made my first loaders for myself on my 3D printer with my plastic backplates.
Yeah.
I went to my club shoot, and then loads of people started giving me advice. They weren't like, "Oh, your loader is shit." They were like, "Oh, well, if you did this or you did that, and then tweak this and then tweak that." And what I did is I took everyone's comments and came back the next week with a new loader that was built the way they told me it should be built, because I accepted that they knew more about it than I did.
Yeah.
And still now, I know there are a lot of people out there who know more than I do, so I take their input before I make something. Firing pin for an old infield, possibly. I don't know.
Yes, DATV. We would like to give a quick mention to our sponsor. Definitely not. Don't sue me, Pepsi. You've got far more money than I do. We are Pepsi fiends.
They can't sue us. We basically own shares with the amount of Pepsi we have in stock at any one time.
And we have guns. So moving on. So yeah, really loads of. We actually have a full list of all the products, which is still probably only like 20% of the ones that we can actually think of.
A lot of them are just like spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
Some of them are things that have been mothballed in development. So I've said it a few times before, like for every product that we've launched, there are probably 10 or 15 that didn't. A lot of them get mothballed for various reasons. A lot of the CNC parts get mothballed because we can't manufacture them cost effectively.
Yeah.
Because people want to charge too much to just have 100 parts made. Whereas if we have our own machine, different story.
Yeah. But yeah, exciting things to come. And Alex is now waving furiously because it's approaching that time. Yes.
Okay, don't worry. Hi, Dave. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. That's what I was
Okay.
trying to get Callum to say. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I mean,
think-
bring your Typhoon.
I
That
know-
would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be good to see you tomorrow.
I know we're running over a bit on time, but people have asked several times here already
Yeah.
about a Magload AR. Not yet. Not yet. Quite frank, honestly, I don't know right now what I would do that's better than anything else out there on the market, and I don't release something if it's not an improvement on what's already available.
Something that is sort of in the works though is a mag-loaded gun off the shelf.
Yeah, so we've been working on that, Smith. If you call Blue Fieldsports and ask for the Magload package, there is a Magload package. It's sort of like the secret menu at McDonald's type thing. Call Blue Fieldsports. I want the Magload package.
Yes.
You get fully Magloaded.
You've got to
Smith.
do that. You've got to do it exactly like that. Give a good 10-second pause. I want the Magload package. Alex will love it. Where did that come from? But anyway,
Magload package.
And on that note,
yes, we're going to have to wrap up there because Alex does want to get inside, and he's fed up as listening to us
Talking about
drabble on.
festivals.
But yeah, really appreciate everyone joining in. Before you all head off, make sure you've hit that like button. If you've just joined us, I've seen that Paul from Point Blank Simulators just joined. If you want to watch this again, any one of you want to watch it again, or you've just joined us, it will be available to watch after we've stopped going live. But yeah, really appreciate all of you guys coming in and joining us, getting involved. Same time next week, 7:30 here at the Blue Fieldsports gunroom. Connors will be here, I will be here. And yeah, so really appreciate it. We've really enjoyed it as always. But yeah, keep safe, keep well, and as always, guys, we hope to see you soon.
How your mum thinks she's going to be back in 20 minutes.
In the Civic, that's possible. Catch you later, guys.
Bye.